We are officially a week into the 2025-26 NHL season, and aside from the fact that the Leafs have decided that they're not going to play their best hockey, I'm very glad to have the NHL back. It's sure to be another exciting season in the National Hockey League, and so for today's video I thought I would share my standings predictions, because even though we are a week into the season, it's still very early on and I don't think you can tell anything about how the season is going to play out based off of just 1 week. I also filmed this video originally a couple of weeks ago before the season started, but I never got around to editing it, and then there'd been injuries and signings and updates since then, so it felt out of date, so I thought I would refilm it. However, I've kept, apart from like one that I've switched, all of my standing predictions are the same as they were before the season even started. I thought this would be a fun video to do. I did share season predictions in the form of a tier list before, so you can watch that if you haven't already, but this is going through every division in the NHL and sharing my standing predictions for the year. And I'm also going to go rapid fire through this because the last time I filmed it, it was like 45 minutes worth of footage and nobody needs to see that, so we're going to go through this super quick. Just before we get started, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm Victoria and I talk everything hockey and the Toronto Maple Leafs from across the pond in Scotland. Also, like this video if you enjoy it too, and leave a comment down below letting me know your season predictions. What do you agree with in this video? What do you disagree with? I don't know if some of these are hot takes or not, but please let me know in the comments. And let's dive into my standings predictions for the 2025-26 NHL season. So we're going to kick it off with the Atlantic division because of course that is the one that I am most emotionally invested in as a Leafs fan. And down in 8th spot, bottom of the Atlantic, I feel pretty certain in this one. I think it's going to be the Boston Bruins. Now on paper, they are far from the worst team in the NHL this year, but they also don't have a lot of good going for them, and I think they will definitely be aiming to get a good draft pick this year, and so I think they're definitely finishing last in the Atlantic. And in 7th place, I have got the Detroit Red Wings, which as of right now feels very hypocritical of me to say because the day I'm filming this, the Leafs have just lost for the 2nd time in a row to Detroit. So it feels a little bit hypocritical of me to be saying this, but I just don't think Detroit have had enough significant additions. I don't think they're going to be overly competitive this year just because I think the Atlantic is going to be so good and so tight once again. So I have them down in 7th spot, even though it feels slightly criminal to say that. Now in 6th spot, which I really struggled with 5 and 6 because honestly these teams seem very equal in my eyes anyway, I'm going to say the Buffalo Sabres, who of course have had the most disastrous start to their season that you possibly can have, which I am surprised at because I think they do have a lot of good young players and I think they look like the best team that they've been in years after being in a rebuild for so long. I think defensively they should be really good this season, so I don't know what's going on there that's not clicking quite yet. I don't see them being a playoff team this year necessarily, but I do think they're going to be better than previous Sabres seasons, and so I'm going to have them in 6th spot. But in 5th spot, which honestly I've flipped and flopped between Montreal and Buffalo so much, I have got the Montreal Canadiens. Again, another team with a lot of young players, and I honestly think if they were in a different division, I could definitely see Montreal making the playoffs once again. I know that they made a quite surprising appearance in the postseason last year, but somehow I felt like them getting there was a lot down to luck, which there's always luck involved in hockey, that's just part of the game. But I do feel like if they don't have quite as much luck this season on their side, they might struggle to clinch a playoff spot. Maybe a wildcard team. I don't know, I just don't see them being in the top half of the Atlantic just yet because the teams in the top 4 I think are going to be so good. And so in that 4th spot, I have got the Ottawa Senators. I think they are definitely making the playoffs again this year. Obviously last year we got the Battle of Ontario, which was really fun to watch. And I think the main problem Ottawa faced in the playoffs was just the fact that a lot of their younger guys just had like zero postseason experience. And now that they've experienced that, I honestly could potentially see them going further into the playoffs than they did last year. I think they have a lot of potential, they're a young team. I think they've honestly got quite a bright future ahead of them, and so I definitely see them in a playoff spot this year. So now we're into the top 3, which I honestly think that the top 3 is going to be so incredibly tight. Like I could easily see it going down to the last couple games of the season to decide the division title. So these top 3, even though I've got 3, 2 and 1, I could honestly see any of these teams finishing in top spot. Yes, even the Leafs. In third place, I have got the Tampa Bay Lightning, which I am a bit hesitant on because, as I say, there is every possibility they win the division this year. They are so good. They've never really dipped too far into a rebuild even after their cup success. They've maintained a really high quality of hockey. They have the likes of Kucherov, they are amazing. I think their forward group in particular is really, really strong. And so I do have them in third spot, but honestly, they could finish on top, to be honest. And in second place, I have got my Toronto Maple Leafs. Of course, I would love for them to win the division again, and I do think it is possible. And I don't think that we should be tricked into thinking that they're not a good team this year because they've had a very shaky start to their season, because the Leafs always have a shaky start to their season and they are never particularly good in October. There is no change in the trend here. They have always kind of sucked a little in October. They take a while to get going. I think they are a deep team. I think they've got a great goaltending tandem when, of course, Joseph Woll comes back. Matthews is, although it's not converting into goals yet, he definitely looks a lot healthier than last season. I've liked the way that Nylander's looked. I think Tavares is still really good. And I don't want to talk about Mitch Marner too much because every single person who talks about hockey on the internet has just completely beaten this topic to death. But I honestly think they're going to be fine without Marner. I genuinely think they're going to be okay. And I know that's probably going to be a hot take, but I think they're going to be totally fine without Marner. I still think they're going to make the playoffs. And as we all know, Marner's impact on the postseason was always very minimal, so as long as they're making the playoffs in the first place, I don't think it's going to be a different outcome based on losing that one player. So I think the Leafs are going to be in second spot, although of course I would like them to finish top. And so, top of the Atlantic Division, and am I confident in this? Absolutely not. But I've got the Florida Panthers. Now, I know that obviously the Barkov injury is going to set them back a little bit. Obviously, Kachuk is out as well for a long time. But Florida have got the most annoying ability to retain really good players and also maintain a really high quality of hockey. And as frustrating as it is, as a Leafs fan who went to 2 playoff games in the second round last year, they are a good team, and I don't think those injuries are going to impact them enough because they are such a deep team. Of course, the Florida Panthers have played a lot of hockey over the last 2 years, so is there the potential for a little bit of fatigue there? Maybe, but at the same time it's Florida and that just doesn't seem to happen with them. So as I say, even though I've got Florida in the top spot, Florida, Toronto, Tampa, I think any of them can take the division, and I think it's going to be really tight between the 3. So there's the Atlantic. Moving on over now to the Central Division. Down in last place, in 8th spot, I have got the Chicago Blackhawks. I don't think this needs to be developed any further really because they are very much a rebuilding team. They're going to be looking for another good draft pick, and I just don't see them finishing anywhere other than 8th spot. In 7th place, I have got the Nashville Predators. They've got a lot of aging veterans on their team, and I don't think they look particularly strong either offensively or defensively, so I just don't see them doing an awful lot. In 6th spot in the Central, I've got the St. Louis Blues, which are a bit of an anomaly to me, and I was not too sure where to put them. I feel like they're not any better or worse than they were last season. And of course, in the playoffs last year, they made it to Game 7 of the first round against Winnipeg, and they lost in double OT. So I mean, realistically, they could have had a deeper playoff run if they just got a better break in that Game 7. So it feels a little harsh putting them down this low, but I don't know. I feel like they might do really well, but they also might not. So I'm going to keep them in 6th spot. Similarly, in 5th place, I've got the Minnesota Wild, who, ironically by the name, feel like an absolute wild card to me. I think they might end up being like a wildcard team. I don't know, they could be good, they could not be good. They had a quieter off-season than I think anyone thought they were going to, including themselves. They went after some big names who ended up re-signing with their original teams. So they didn't quite improve in the way that I think a lot of people thought they were going to. And to me, they're very much a middle-of-the-pack team. So I feel like, yeah, 5th spot. In 4th place in the Central, I have got the Utah Mammoth, who I keep wanting to call the Utah Hockey Club because I forget that they now have a name. I honestly think they are going to sneak into a playoff spot this year. Obviously, they got JJ Peterka, who is a significant addition for them. I think their roster looks pretty good. It's quite well rounded, and I definitely see them making the postseason this year. I don't know how well they might do in terms of going deeper into the playoffs, but in terms of standings, I definitely see them finishing in the top half of the Central Division this year. In third place, I have got the Winnipeg Jets. I don't think they're going to be quite on the same form that they were the last regular season. They were an absolute powerhouse and they could not be stopped. They lost Ehlers, which is quite a loss for them. I think they're still going to be a really good competitive team, but I don't see them being as good as the teams that I've got in the top 2 spots in this division. And so the first and second place teams in the Central, I again went back and forth with, because I realistically think that either of them could win the division title this year. But in second place, I decided to go with the Colorado Avalanche. Their top 6 is absolutely stacked with elite talent, and they feel like a team that is built for the playoffs. I think that they can easily go deep. They could honestly really go for the Stanley Cup this year. And so that's why I struggle to not put them in first place. But in first in the Central Division, I have got the Dallas Stars. They have made the Western Conference Final 3 years in a row. And I keep thinking it's going to be their year. I just get this feeling about Dallas every year that I'm like, they're the cup winners this year. Like, they're going to do it. And then they never do. They've got a deep forward group and an elite top 6. Again, another team that just feels built for the postseason. I honestly could see them going super deep. I could see them lifting the cup too. I'm really intrigued to see what happens between Dallas and Colorado, because they feel like similar teams to me, not in terms of the way that they play hockey, but just in the fact that they feel like teams that have been built brick by brick, that are going to do well in the postseason and that could have really good regular seasons this year, especially if their star players can stay healthy. I honestly think these two are going to be 2 of the best teams in the entire National Hockey League this season. And now we're on to the Metropolitan Division. Down in 8th spot, I've got the Philadelphia Flyers, a team that I don't think anyone is anticipating will do overly well. They fixed their goaltending issue, but overall their roster still feels a little weak. In 7th place, I've got the New York Islanders, another team that I just don't see being in contention for a playoff spot this year. I think they're gradually getting better, but I don't think they're there yet. In 6th place, I've got the Pittsburgh Penguins. What do we even talk about? The fact that all their money is wrapped up in veterans who have definitely aged past their prime now. The main narrative around the Penguins this year is absolutely going to be, where is Sidney Crosby going to go? That's basically the main storyline that's going to happen around Pittsburgh this year. I don't see it being anything to do with their hockey playing, because I don't think it's going to go well. In 5th place in the Metropolitan, I have got the Columbus Blue Jackets. For some reason, it gives me a similar vibe to the St. Louis Blues, and I don't know how to explain that the two correlate in my head, but they do. I think they've got decent offense, but defensively they're going to be let down this year, and I just don't quite see them in that top half of the division. In 4th place, I've got the New York Rangers, who of course last season didn't make the playoffs. Despite this, I still think that New York have got enough elite talent on their team. I love Zibanejad, like, he is for some reason one of my favourite players. I don't know why. I just think they have enough there to finish in the top half of the division, but I don't see them winning the division by any means. In 3rd place, I've got the Washington Capitals. They made it to the 2nd round last year, of course, and their organisation obviously had an amazing year with all of the Ovechkin stuff going on. I don't see them being division winners, but I do see them finishing in the top 3. And in 2nd spot, I have got the New Jersey Devils, who I think if they can stay healthy this year, I think they have the potential to be really good. Jack Hughes, of course, is amazing, and it would be great to see Quinn and Jack play on the same team. That'd be really fun. They've got good goaltending, and they've also got a decent blue line as well. There's a lot of elite talent there. I think they're going to do well. And in top spot, winning the Metropolitan Division this year, I think, is the Carolina Hurricanes. They went on a deep playoff run last year. They added Ehlers, which is a really good pickup for them. They have a lovely combination of veterans and young talent that I think is going to just combine really well and make for a good regular season and a good playoff team. I feel pretty certain they're going to win the division, and I honestly think I could see them going deep into a Stanley Cup run as well. And so we have made it. Last but not least, the Pacific Division. Although I'm saying last but not least, in my opinion, the Pacific Division is by far the weakest overall this year. I think that in terms of points, I think they're just a weaker division overall, and I am confident in the top 3, but the rest of these, like the middle kind of teams here, could go anyway, to be honest. Down in 8th spot, which is not going to be any surprise, I have the San Jose Sharks. Very similar to Chicago, rebuilding team, draft pick. etc. In 7th spot, which I don't know if this is kind of a hot take or not, and I'm starting to think maybe it is, I've got the Anaheim Ducks, who are definitely much improved. I think they're getting there, and I'm not meaning to like be a downer on them, because I do genuinely think they're getting there, and I think they're going to be really close to maybe finishing in 6th spot, but I still don't see them finishing any higher than that. I do think they're much better than they were though, and as I say, the teams between 7th spot up to like 4th spot in the Pacific, I think it's anyone's game. But up in the 6th spot, I do have the Calgary Flames. I feel like they're a pretty average team. They're okay. I don't really know what else to say about them. In 5th place, I have got the Seattle Kraken. I think they are playing a perfect long game, and I do think there is the possibility they might finish up in 4th spot. Their roster doesn't quite feel like it's there yet, but in the next couple of years, I think they're going to have real potential to go far. So that's why I've got them in 5th spot, but honestly, I was tempted to put them in 4th. But instead in 4th spot, I put the Vancouver Canucks, who of course had a dreadful end to their season last year. I was so certain they were at least making the playoffs, and I was wrong. I don't see them as a ridiculously good team. I don't know if 4th spot is maybe generous or not, but as I say, this division feels just like weaker overall. Apart from the top couple of teams. The top 2 teams, they are both fantastic hockey teams at the moment. In 3rd place, I have got the LA Kings. There's something about that team that just feels like there's something there. I think offensively they're really good. They maybe lack the depth to go far, but I think they're good enough that they're going to finish in the top 3 in the Pacific this year. 1st and 2nd spot, I honestly can't really pick between these 2 teams, but I had to for the sake of this video. In 2nd place, I have got the Edmonton Oilers. Obviously, McDavid just signed an extension. That's very exciting stuff. Their top 6 defensemen are fantastic. Combine that with star players like McDavid and Draisaitl. I thought Edmonton were going to be the team to break the Canadian Stanley Cup drought. I really thought they were going to do it, and there's a chance that maybe they could do it this year. The only reason I have put them in 2nd place and not 1st is their goaltending, because Skinner doesn't feel like a clutch goalie, and I think that could cost you. Otherwise, they would have been in top spot. But instead, in 1st place in the Pacific, I have put the Vegas Golden Knights. And that's not because I want that to happen. Absolutely nobody can claim that I have any bias in this video whatsoever, because I've got Florida finishing on top, and I've also got Vegas finishing on top, and I don't like either of those teams. To be blunt, I don't like either of them, but I don't like Vegas. I'm sorry, I don't like them. I think the fact that Pietrangelo is out is a big loss for them. He is their best defenseman, and so I think that they might struggle in that regard, which is why Vegas, Edmonton, I don't know. I'm confident one of those 2 is going to win the division, but I just don't know which it is. I think Vegas were always going to be contenders for the Cup, and I think that in terms of the regular season, Mitch Marner will seem like a great addition to them. Probably, maybe. We'll see if that translates in the postseason in a way it never has before. I'm sorry, why am I throwing so much shade at Vegas? I got through this whole video being, I would say, quite objective, and then we've got to the last team and I'm just like throwing shade constantly. I'm really sorry. But you can't complain too much, because I've still got Vegas winning the Pacific Division this year. I think, or maybe Edmonton, who knows. So there you have it. Those are my standing predictions for the 2025 to 26 NHL season. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you agree with? What do you disagree with? I love to have a hockey debate, so leave a comment. Once again, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and also like this video for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon with more hockey chats from across the pond. Bye guys. I was just a kid.